Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Excellency Light League. If you're just joining us, we are bringing you the second set, the second game, the final game of the night here between Degenerates Reform versus Darkside Academy. If you're just joining us, like I said, Darkside Academy, Degenerates Reform, they took it toe-to-toe, kill-to-kill. They were even it out all the way to the end. Degenerates Reform, while he managed to take a Baron, could not find their way to victory off of a few great picks from Darkside as they managed to eke out game one.
Yeah, it was blow for blow in that first one. And they say they saved the best for last because that last game was amazing. So this final one should be just as good. We can only hope. And the Anivia and the Lilia already being immediately deemed as problems, getting banned out by the time of Degenerates Reformed, as well as banning out the Nara. But this time, Seraphine and the Udi are getting banned out by Darkside. So it is actually the Kog'Maw and the Swain that are left up for Degenerates Reformed that were banned out last time.
I mean, I will say they were just as bad on the side there of Darkside Academy, so no surprise there. But seeing some more rooted neural picks here, and Kai'Sa landing its way onto Degenerates Reformed here. So not the Vayne this time around for Fox Zero. Going to be opting for something just as late game, but a little bit more mixed in something that is can find success towards that mid to late with the appropriate backing. So we'll have to see what the support is.
Yeah, I like Kai'Sa in general better than Vayne. Coincidentally, Vayne is actually a counterpick into Kai'Sa, but regardless, Kai'Sa just generally a more flexible champion. She can dive in more efficiently, also can use her ult to stay alive, has very good mixed DPS as well. Of course, no champion can really do as much single target damage as Vayne, but AoE damage and flexibility definitely goes the way of Kai'Sa, as well as wave clear in lane. But we will see the Tristana being run back here by the side of Darkside Academy.
Yeah, Naro's Tristana, if you guys didn't get to see it, was just kind of schnutty. I mean, absolutely became an oppressive force, ripped through most of the side. There was a point where Fox Zero stepped up under turret into him and got absolutely obliterated on the Vayne. So welcome to be sought after again. It's looking like the Viego is in fact actually going to be making its introduction here. This is the first time I've managed to see one, given that it's no longer banned. So a bit of a surprise. And like you've said, if it gets ahead, it's awesome. If it's put behind, not as crazy.
Yeah, definitely not. A Viego from behind, especially in team fights, just runs in and gets blown up. With that being said, if he actually manages to steal someone that's fed and become them, he gets all their items and can actually do a lot of work. Depends on who it is.
Imagine a Naro dying to him.
Yeah, exactly. Because Tristana isn't really about her ult. You can just rocket jump in, kill everyone, and then jump out of the soul as Viego. So that would be pretty funny. Actually, my first time getting to cast Viego, so I am very, very excited to see that locked in. But we also see blind Lissandra here from Crimvale. I'm not sure about that one.
I don't know either. It does have its place, but in terms of lockdown, I can see it making its impact on guys like Tristana and Skarner, but it's now left up for huge response here. So I hope Reform knows what they're doing, and that's what they really want here, because it can pay off. I mean, I can see its usage in terms of the Tom making its impact to make sure that these fights don't go wayward very quickly. But at the same time, I think you can see a lane just get absolutely wiped, and especially with the precedent, the fact that it is, mid lane.
Yeah, for sure. So Finnick, our lovely producer, actually had some very choice words for Lissandra. We saw locked in on Saturday over at AoE in houses. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how this one works out. Lissandra not super susceptible to being counterpicked in the sense that she gets completely dumpstered in lane. Lissandra is always going to be useful as long as she picks up some farm. And she interacts with waves reasonably well, and I do agree with you. Against the likes of Tristana, provides a lot of utility and also can be disengaged and hard engaged. But that is a LeBlanc being picked into it. That is the gauntlet getting thrown down. Saint Alucard said, "I am going to kill you."
Yeah, but how do you kill Lissandra's LeBlanc?
Valid question.
I could see its usage across the map, but in terms of the lane-to-lane matchup, he had all the opportunity in the world to come and hit with something a little bit more with some precedent. But hey, the LeBlanc is already locked in. Alistar, Gangplank looking to be the response to finish out the draft
I
here
like
for
this
Reformed.
Gangplank. Yeah, really like this Gangplank into what Darkside Academy has locked in. They sort of just want to run at you, and they're not super long range. Tristana not getting her big range until way later in the game. LeBlanc having to throw herself in. Skarner, Brum having to throw themselves in. So I really like blind Gangplank. You can cleanse the Impale without paying the Skarner tax. You do a lot of damage. You can hit these melee carries for a lot. Camille, if it's picked into it, it's not really that much of a counter. Like, Camille definitely controls the lane, but Gangplank, if you play it properly, can just scale.
Just plays
and
weak side. There you go. All done.
you're gonna have to take it in that lane. It's not gonna be pleasant, but you can scale. It's not a hard counter, so not really taking advantage of that red side counter pick there. So I really like that pick there coming through for Hardstock Brother.
Right, and I honestly think Gangplank is one of the best weak side top laners in the game for the damage potential that can come through just from managing to eep it out time and time again. So we'll have to see how it works out. But hey, you know, Camille definitely has its presence and its place in Adrenaline. While he may not have to find major success on the kill to kill, still is a really great person to find those engages, make sure that you get in the backline and put that Hextech ultimatum where you need it, when you need it. And that's going to be something very, very important, as I think Degenerates Reformed really has something very simple in the fact that they don't want that collapse to ever occur on their end.
Yeah, for sure. And the last, I guess, point I want to make about lane to lane matchups, going again back to this LeBlanc Lissandra here in the mid lane. I think both mid laners actually had a great performance last game for themselves. Crimvale, you know, sort of being the main carry for his team. St. Alucard doing tons of work on that Anivia. And so LeBlanc into Lissandra is a counter matchup if you play the matchup properly. LeBlanc has more damage, especially pre-6, when compared to this Lissandra. So if you play the matchup properly, you're able to get in there, find good trades. You can take control of the lane. However, if you play the matchup carelessly, you're just going to get chunked out and possibly killed yourself playing too aggressively. And Lissandra sort of suffers against longer ranged champions sometimes, in the sense that you know, she can get poked out with her more mid-range, and LeBlanc cannot really take advantage of that. So it's definitely puts the ball in St. Alucard's court to play the matchup properly and take advantage.
Hey, eventually the tomb's going to come down and LeBlanc doesn't get a wayward say in anything, all right? And at that point, it's a hide nor hair, a really intense matchup to be had. I will say I'm very interested to see how Degenerates Reformed switch up on their bot side will work out for them. The Tristana Braun combo can become very oppressive very quickly, especially since Tristana has such an overt attack speed steroid to work with, that Kai'Sa could be really punished out before it's ever allowed to even make the bright of day. So huge props here for Prop Zero. My apologies, not Prop Zero. For Fox Zero, sorry, to find his way through. I don't know what I said there.
Prop Zero, you know, that's the new 80 carry subbing in. Of course,
Zero, Prop Zero.
Only Weird. Joking, but I'm actually sort of interested in why the Braum was picked from Darkside Academy. I think Braum is decent right now. Braum's always good. Like, Braum is good at what he does, but I don't think he's necessarily the best support out there right now. And I'm not actually sure what role Braum is supposed to fill on this team for Darkside that a different support couldn't have. With that being said,
Nautilus is like literally still on the board, and that, not in my opinion,
Nautilus, Leona, even
just as well.
Like, a little interesting. Alistar was on the board as well. Alistar is better too. So sort of an interesting pickup there, as we're sort of trying to figure out the whole.
Right. Do you want to throw any kind of last objective kind of thoughts on these drafts before we might pull it away and get things fixed on our end?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess last thought. Darkside Academy's composition, if you walk into Fog of War against that, you're going to die. That is a Skarner, LeBlanc, and Camille. They can kill anybody from so far away. So watch out, because that is a pick comp if I've ever seen one.
Right. And before we take it away, and these two teams will leave it up in the air and how they'll perform, I do want to update everyone. One other series has completed. Degenerate Esports do find themselves a victory tonight now in response to Darkside's earlier success against Merciless. So Merciless looking worse for wear as they're constantly pushed further and further away from their playoff position. Granted, Degenerates Reformed have not won anything in this series as well either, so they're still just 1 point ahead, but it's still a point that can make or break their chances. All of that, though, we're going to be going to a little bit of a break here, and it might be a longer one because we won't be coming back until we actually manage to make our way into the game. Riot servers are doing us a hard one tonight as they constantly put the pressure down on getting these lobbies in formation. But all that being said, it is a very exciting, very equivalent matchup against two very, very strong teams here at Excellency Light League. So stick around, stay tuned, no matter how long it might be, for what will be an exciting finale tonight. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Excellency Esports. If you are just joining us, which I know a lot of you newcomers are, we are bringing you the second game of the second set here tonight into Week 6, Darkside Academy versus Degenerates Reform. To catch you up here, we're coming off of an incredibly tight Game 1. I'm talking 21 to like 28 kills in favor of Darkside, as they just barely managed to eke out a win off of an incredible manage of a catch here. So very tight here. Hopefully this second game going to be just as close, just as exciting. I am your play-by-play caster Zephyr, joined by the lovely color Hawk.
Yes, here we are, game number 4 of the night, still bringing the color to this broadcast. Game number 1, as my main man Zephyr said, was an absolutely amazing matchup. It was so close. It was an absolute bloodbath, and we had a pleasure casting it. Let's hope that this game number 2 delivers. Darkside managed to take that one home, but Degenerates Reformed were right on their heels the entire time, and it just came down to one overextension that ended the game in favor of the side of Darkside. And I'm not sure about this one.
Want to start that lane.
Yeah,
brother, that is not quite the position you want to be in against Camille. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you wanted the passive auto to get the true damage, and you get the movement speed to try to run away, but Camille just walks up and auto attacks him basically and gets some nice damage right there. So yeah, that's a pretty good start to Adrenaline in this lane, getting another W in a grasp proc. That is so much damage.
I mean, we talked about a lot of the play style of the Gangplank into this, going for the weak side approach, and that's very important, but you can't go weak side if you're not even managing to eke out the victory to begin with. So at least it evens it out in the long run here, but I'm curious if that might pay later on. Firestreak getting a good concussive blow off on Flute Loops there to bring him half down. And Naro, like we said from Game 1, proved his strength on this Tristana, so very curious to see how it's going to end up this time around.
Yeah, that was a nice punish there from Firestreak, subbing into this one and getting the punish onto the stack there for Flute Loops, you know, walking into the wave, trying to punch that minion, but not without paying the price dearly there. Fortunately for Heartstuck Brother on the top side, there is a sustain advantage to him having that Corrupting Potion, so the trades early ultimately kind of end up evening out due to that sustain advantage, but with the wave getting pushed in, using that Q to trade with Camille, that means he's dropping a few minions and falling marginally at this point, but still falling behind in CS. Holding that one out in front of his turret, but that is almost certainly going to get crashed in. And we see Skarner already passing the top side. Could be threat of a dive, but instead looking towards Hot S'mores, finding him, should throw the dive, but getting information on the jungler.
Right, just nothing crazy as of yet, but he does manage to eke out the success on controlling the scuttler there, so he'll manage to pull that one through. If he gets out clean, he could even rotate that towards bot and continue his sustained advantage in that regard. So we'll have to wait and see, but it's definitely playing towards the favor here of Wizward.
Yeah, playing in their favor for sure. I almost wonder if the bot lane here from the side of Degenerates Reformed could have just walked up into the river there and done the scuttle crab themselves. Alistar can CC it, and Kaisa has good single target damage. Good orange.
Heavy engage.
Heavy trading. Good orange. Keeps him alive, but you know, seeing the jungler there on the top side means that I almost wonder after shoving in that wave if they could have taken that one away for themselves. But regardless, the bot side still to crab will still stand as we see more trading here on the bottom side.
Into it, Naro taken low, but Flute Loops deep into that backline, stunned out with the concussive blow in a terrible position. Great exhaust onto Fox here to make sure he doesn't sustain any further there. Now in the mid lane, Crimvale finding a great trade on St. Alucard. We're gonna just move it towards top as well. Adrenaline is stunned out, even though he makes the route over the wall, and now St. Alucard back in the mid lane finds himself onto Crimvale. 1-for-1 in both regards to each of these teams here, but bot lane, I think it's going to be next with Wizward on the side coming into river. They manage to get the proc off on the Flute Loop, start stacking up that concussive blow, and they just barely don't find it. There it is. Naro picks up that kill. Back to the mid lane. St. Alucard going down from another great game from Hot S'mores.
Oh man, everybody getting taken down. It starts with the first blood in the top side coming through from the side of the Viego, picking one up for himself. That is absolutely massive for the side of Degenerates Reform, but trading back in the mid lane, St. Alucard, I talked about how LeBlanc is technically a counter matchup if you play the matchup correctly, and it seems like St. Alucard was able to do so, having more damage, finding that kill with the help of that ignite, eschewing the teleport, eschewing the global in favor of that kill threat, as that is a jump in on the bottom side.
Ooh, looking
Great
for
flash.
there. Yeah, flash.
Great flash, yeah, keeps him alive, but again, trading on the bottom side with the gank, evening out the 2v2. There's a lot going on this map already. We've got 4 kills, but the gold is relatively even.
Yes, sirree, and that's no surprise. These two teams play back and forth all the time, as we saw from last game. They never tend to just give it one way or the other. Interesting spot for Flute Loops, but I can appreciate it.
Both half HP. Jungler could come down. Mid laner also in the river. Could Hex Flash over.
He gets over, but he's not going to find really anything. And Naro has far too much peel for himself, so at that point, it's a tough garner.
Yeah, tough one to find. Vision in the river meant that they were playing somewhat defensively, not wanting to get ganked there by Hot S'mores. As trading back, could take the claw.
He does take the claw straight into Alucard there, and he does manage to pull out a little bit of the strength, and we'll just have to wait and see when it comes to the Lysandra pick. I don't think the early game is where we see the strength of the assassin counter shine.
Yeah, for sure. And I would actually like to see a Verdant Barrier come out from both of these mid laners, both wanting to sustain in this magic damage matchup. But that's just going to be a Lost chapter coming through from Crimvale on his reset. Already being forced to back again. He was straight up just an amp tome down in that portion of the laning phase, and that's going to be another wave miss. So CS going to grow just a little bit in favor of Alucard to bolster the advantage he has from the kill. But overall gold marginally in favor of Degenerates Reformed, actually getting that first blood bonus gold.
Degenerates Reformed. So like you said, a little bit ahead on that regard, but honestly, man, I don't think there's going to be any major contest for, you know, where the leeway really starts to drive it home until we start to see those dragons and everything come out on the map. And one thing to note is Reformed is on top of the dragon control like they were in game 1, so they can play around posturing and getting that soul in their favor. And while it didn't garner them the victory they wanted in game 1, it still showed how strong this team is in terms of macro control. But look at that response. Adrenaline into the Hextech ultimatum. He can't really chase it. There's going to be the cannon barrage response. His Heartstuck brother looking to finish this one off. Can't find the ward where he needs it, and that's going to be the shot to take Adrenaline out of the fight. Just barely played into Heartstuck there.
Heartstuck brother took a step back there. I feel like he could have just dropped ult, flash auto Q, and that's a dead Camille. No flash available for Adrenaline, but instead the Camille just walks out. No summoner spells blown. It is wave pressure over to the gangplank, but it could be a dead Crimvale.
Not quite. When he's got the claw hawk, come on. You should know this at this point. You've got 2 yourself.
Ooh. Flash being blown on the bottom side, though. Very respectable there from Inaro, not trusting the buffer, getting caught up by that one. But we do see rotation towards the top side from both junglers. Bread buff being taken away by the Viego on the top side, going to find each other out. Shouldn't amount to too much.
Big stun on the Wizward. He's going to be taking this, I think, as he does use the Impale straight into Alucard. Hot S'mores taking incredibly low. The response there, as we do see the Tome taken out. Crimvale now looking to chase Alucard, but there's Adrenaline on the side going to come through. The big flash from Crimvale. Make sure he doesn't go down, but the slow deal still managed to hit. And there's Alucard pressuring, showing why the LeBlanc's damage makes her the assassin she is.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure Hot S'mores either died while he was possessing it or right before the invulnerability came from the position to the ignite of St. Alucard. Regardless, that is 2 more kills over to the LeBlanc, traded back for 1 in the hands of the Viego. So advantage for Darkside Academy as we see another engage on the bot lane. Flute Loops has been very opportunistic for these ones.
Wow. No concussive blow there. That was very close to the Flute. I'm surprised that did go down. No vision to play off of because of that try.
Yeah, definitely. Just barely that one expired. Gets away with his life. Probably wouldn't have gone down, but still would have not been a favorable trade. Regardless, both these bot lanes farming up.
I would prefer steak any time of the day.
You know, you got to keep your steak chilled with the Braum there. You know, keep it in the fridge until you want to eat it. There it is.
So you just want to blast it, sear it, sear it with Tristana there.
Exactly. You cook it with a Tristana. You keep it cooled off every 30 seconds. You got to land a Braum Q, otherwise the steak gets warm and goes bad.
I'm honestly gonna say I think it sounds like a pretty tough steak if you're constantly freezing it and then searing it.
Yeah, it's gonna be not the most tender as another 1v1 in the top side.
Adrenaline here looking low, gonna be punched out, I think. Here the barrels are lining up. Can Hardstuck find it? Not quite, but he does manage to flash this out. There's the bullet, mind you. Viego, Hard S'mores on the side there. Easy kill for him. He just had to just show up.
Yeah, just has to show up and gets the hook shot out of there too, because Viego is a champion that can do that. So yeah, just getting the taxi out. That is 3 kills on this Viego. I talked about how Viego is scary from ahead, and here we are. Viego's ahead. So is LeBlanc, for that matter, as we see ults in the mid lane.
I mean, that's the Tom we expected, and maybe not quite at the point that we want to at this range, but eventually it will find its success. And now Flute Loop's taken pretty low. They're going to be using the Unbreakable Will to make sure he doesn't quite go down immediately. The big
nice
flash to follow through. Very nice use on that one. Hex Flash, with the delay, still manages to ep out the successful escape. And you do have Hot S'mores coming down. This is going to be a massive contestant on this Drake.
Yeah, but no ult available for Crimvale. Wizard electing to hold on to that one, not using it on the Cal there, and he does get the flash over the wall. But that means that the cooldown is still available for this fight, should one happen, as well as the flash. You can get in there, but they are going for a contest. Gangplank is walking over as well.
Camille
up top of TP.
There's the cannon barrage to start things off. Flute Loop's in the front line, gonna be knocked up, taken low, but a good route with the impale onto Wizard to make sure Hot S'mores, he does manage to get it, transforms into Scar. Now their attention pushing back as Adrenaline finally go all low, but backside Hot S'mores is trying to clean up, dashes forward on the chance that he becomes a Naro. He takes it out, launches forward, finds the kill, transforms again, straight into Fire Streak using the hook shot transformation. That is an incredible collapse choice of play there from Viego. My gosh.
My oh my, that Viego just cleaned up the fight. The mobility using the rocket jump into, as we see, a claw.
Yeah, I think Alucard's fine there. He's got far too much mobility.
Had to hold my breath. Crimvale still not having that Glacial Tomb available, unfortunately for him. Not able to find that one. But yeah, the mobility getting stolen away. The rocket jump in, then uses that to take down the Camille. Getting the hook shot from her, goes in and kills the support, as well as 2 more for the Viego on the backside. Dragon did, I believe, go over to the side of Darkside Academy, as well as a couple of kills of their own. So ultimately it is, I think, a slightly favorable trade for Darkside, but this Viego is just getting more and more and more. But let's not discount the fact that this is a 2-1-2 Tristana and a 5-1-5 LeBlanc.
Oh, absolutely. It's still a very impressive lead in favor of Darkside in terms of their major carries. But that Viego, I mean, come on, Hawk. It's still a major challenger. And at the end of the day, the stronger you are, the more likely Viego is going to be able to strike back just as hard. So sitting at 5-1, he's not just going to walk in eventually. Ooh, look at that knock-up engage Wizard there. He's going to be forced to back off. And Naru's over the wall. They managed to get concussive blows up, but that's going to be the Unbreakable Will that prevents this from really coming through here. And Naro and the rest of them just backing off, especially waiting for an engage, hopefully from mid lane.
Yeah, a lot of time invested up here just to blow the Alistar ultimate, and while that is nice, that is Viego just going to be continuing to farm his camps and get more gold, while Wizard sort of spending a lot of time, still has the Impale available, but I don't really think they can find this dive. I like the roam down from Crimvale, but they might be committing to this one. Still sticking around, and St. Alucard in the river. They want this. At least pressure over the turret, but Lissandra freely pushing the mid lane. Gangplank and Viego roaming down towards that as well.
Concussive blows. Wow.
Whoa.
Moves taken low. We do see the flash forward. Naro gets it with the buster shot. Beautiful play forward there from Naro.
Yeah, man, Tristana jumping in under tower with barely any minions, but he knows all he needs is one shot. And it is 1 kill with the ultimate, taking down the cow, jumping his way right back out. Fox Zero not having the damage to trade back, and that will be pressure over this turret in their favor. So at the end of the day, they do still manage to get themselves a kill, but they're behind almost 2,500 gold as Alucard making his presence felt in the mid lane.
Absolutely, and we talk a lot about the assassin response here, but it hasn't really shined. Wizard's on the side, but Alucard goes for the flash. Instantly deleted, instantly gone, no contestation. Now Adrenaline taking that 1v1 that we know so well, going for the Hex Tech, but not before he finds himself into the barrel. Removed back back to the river into the mid lane there, looking low. Hot S'mores goes down before he can make any sovereign domination happen. Now Wizward and St. Alucard looking to chase Flute Loops. Mind you, he doesn't have Unbreakable Will, but he does have the turret to play to favor. Fox Zero on the side here. They look to play back into Pulverized Headbutt to go into St. Alucard. They're under turret. He does manage to get stunned out, but the response is Fox Zero being completely left alone. Anaro chasing under turret, still manages to find the kill.
Anaro finally manages to get it. Flute Loops thinks they have a pick on the mid laner, but the AD carry and jungler still around, and they just decide to take down Fox Zero. No ultimate available to close the gap onto the LeBlanc means he gets taken down. Another kill for the Tristana. Darkside Academy has 11 kills. Do you see where all 11 of these kills are? That's on a LeBlanc and a Tristana. That is so scary.
If Anaro has shown us anything from the last game, those 4 kills will quickly be converted into an even more impressive lead. So very shocked on that one. I'm impressed from Alucard, though, coming through so strong on this LeBlanc in response to Lysandra, really proving that even though he is into a little bit of a counter pick, he still manages to eke out, pressure it appropriately, and find major success. So huge issue now to worry about regarding Fox Zero, Hot S'mores, or anyone else who can just absolutely be bursted through by him.
Yeah, I really like seeing this use of the counter pick from Alucard, clearly understanding the matchup better than his lane opponent and taking advantage of it. I think with 2 solo kills now there in the mid lane, which is very good for the side of Darkside Academy, but we do see a contest being set up over the Dragon. Taking stock of spells real quick. No flashes on the big carries of the side.
Whoa, Adrenaline with the hook shot straight in. Anaro over the wall. Crimvale blasted out. The 2 members now forced away here. Sadly, I don't think a team fight's going to occur now because of that.
Yeah, trade of flashes, but the health bars really in favor of the side of Darkside Academy. Crimvale looking solo. Alucard looking for him.
He gets the root off, but that Frozen Tom going to make sure he doesn't find any further aggression, which sadly not used aggressively, does have to be pulled on the defensive, but either way still manages to eat that one out. But Infernal is taken here for Reform or Darkside, and now I don't think he's going to die to that, but he's going to be very low. Yeah.
Yeah, takes the claw out of there. Actually, something I've always wondered, Lysandra just teleports through a claw. I feel like that realistically makes 0 sense, but you know, Runeterra logic, of course, claws mean you can teleport. So gets away with that one, does not die to the bomb, although it was very, very close. That will be an unanswered dragon and mid lane turret for the side of Darkside Academy, slowly clawing back this game. It was about a 2,500 gold lead. Now only about a 1,500 gold lead, still in favor of Degenerate Reformed, but not as heavily. Gangplank, though, freely pushing in the bot side, trading the Herald for a turret. You take the turret any day, as well as the farm onto this GP. We've talked about the gold allocation for Darkside Academy, but let's not forget that this is a 2-0-4 Gangplank and a 5-2-3 Viego, so some of the carries for Degenerate Reformed are definitely online as well.
And notably in that last team fight, we didn't quite get to see Heartstuck Brother. He played off the cannon barrage, wasn't actually going to be there in that fight. In future engagements, he'll definitely be more on the frontal load, so we'll really get to see what damage he's capable and how much oppression he can put down. But I'll tell you what, man, Hawk, 7-1, 4-1, those happen to be numbers. They happen to be numbers, and they might be on the larger end of the spectrum.
Yeah, they are large numbers, as some of you may know.
Scary,
math whizzes,
someone may say.
Some may say it's scary. Math whizzes around the world would look at that and say, hey, that's pretty good, because it is.
It is.
But yeah, and Alucard.
My wallet, not quite. Oh, Flute Loops. Finds good gauge on Alucard, taken low. This might be the pick that we wanted. Stunned out. Tries to go away, but the bullet from Hardstuck follows any day.
Oh, F in the chat for both Zephyr's wallet and St. Alucard right there, getting taken down. Not an F in the chat for Heartstar Brothers' wallet, though. He is feeling very good about picking up that shutdown. So, yeah, and that is
Adrenaline.
Adrenaline, well, just walk away.
He's good. They don't care about him.
Yeah, the Gangplank flank, as good as it is, doesn't actually have any CC. So he, threw his body in there, realized they weren't going to get him, just walked on away. But they're not done. They're contesting for the blue buff as well. These teams just contesting
back and
everything.
Forth. Yeah, Reform, they managed to get it. Find it on the Crimvale. Now Wizward steps up there. I don't think that's a good move, buddy. Stunned out, rooted through. Hotsmores finds it. Sovereign Domination to pull it on his end. Sadly, no Impale for him, but still a really great pick to be had. They could play around the Baron at this point, especially since they got 22, but I don't think they're really set up.
Yeah, Baron is actually high, but they're going in.
Under turret, stunned. Fire Streaks forced to flash back. He goes. They don't quite find the re-engage, but hey, man, at least it pushes them off. There's the concussive blows responses. Zanaro continues to put him lower. Buster shot doesn't do enough as Unbreakable Will just chunks the rest of that damage out of the park. And high adrenaline. Okay, there you go. Naro at least gets one kill. Response in the mid lane. Alucard's looking low. He's getting chunked out, but he's able to dash out. There's so much mobility on these teams. 1-for-1. Aggressive fighting across the board. Just calm down, please.
Just calm down, please. But man, these teams fighting for literally everything, as we were talking about. And I feel like that's like the 10th greedy recall we've seen get punished in some way or another today. All these teams recalling in bad places. Just recall on your side of the map and you'll be fine. Hotsmores recalling on a ward gets taken down by somebody. I think it was the Camille. Either that or the LeBlanc, but that is his third death in the middle column there. But Hardstuck, brother, he is looking very good. 2.5 items. Immortal Shield Bow, Essence Reaver completed. Dragon spawning in 40 seconds. He wants to fight, but no Cannon Barrage yet available. No Unbreakable Will either, with only the Buster Shot being down for the side of Darkside Academy.
Stun to play around there, but nothing to go forward. I will say Darkside are in a really good spot to make something happen regarding this Drake, but they're not going to go at it alone. They're going to be button heads here no matter what.
Yeah, and Flute Loop's getting taken really low. That's the second dragon in a row on the setup that we've seen someone sort of walk in carelessly and get chunked up before it starts. As Herald going to be spawned somewhere. I don't actually see where that went, but they're going in.
Oh, Crimvale into the backline, throwing the tomb down onto Adrenaline. Hotsmores is there as well. The rest of the team just barely managed to come up. The Hextech ultimatum onto Fox here, taking out immediately. There's the response from Floops as he gets the knockup. Crimvale deep in the backline using the Zonias to try to survive, but he's still going to be taken out by Inaro. Either way, the response as they all go back in. Hardstuck brother finally arriving to the fight. The barrels come down. Inara's looking low. Buster shot as well to push him back. All 5 members against the 2. They turn their attention to the Infernal Drake winning the fight, but the cannon barrage! Oh no! Straight onto Inaro. Hardstuck brother says, I want more. There's the barrel, finds the fire stick, but Alucard comes back in. The exhaust is there as well, but they don't quite find the kill. They managed to get the divine dragon, but not before they see the response as Hardstuck brother steps back in. Wizward is still trying to fight this one out. No matter how low he gets, he's still able to survive. It's a double based off the barrel at this point. Leave the pirate alone. He's just too strong. Take the dragon and run. And this might be one of those cheater backs we discussed earlier, because Adrenaline straight into the midst of Fox Zero. Killer instinct to find himself that kill. Even across the board, I believe that was 4 for 4.
Hardstuck brother does not want to lose this game. His team fought without him. He was still pushing out the mid lane, and they go in 4v5, end up getting taken down. But then on the backside, he cleans up the fight. That was rated R, watching the cannon barrage get dropped. Death's Daughter right on the head of Inaro, taking him down in front of the dragon, then flashing in, getting the Qs. I think that was an unofficial triple kill in what was essentially a 1v5. I guess it was a 2v5. Alistar was there as well. Very impressive stuff there from the Gangplank, now sitting on 3 completed items. If you thought those crit barrels were hurting before, now he's got an Infinity Edge.
At this point, the win condition here for Degenerates is clear at this point. They still managed to find themselves in a favor of Golding, while the objectives might not be in their favor. Something rings so clear and so true compared to last game. This time around, though, they do have such a menace in a carry position to work with that on its own. I will say, Baron, the only objective left up on the field, and you've already got Reformed playing and pairing out for it. Flute Loop stepping up here. They find their way onto Fire Streaks. In goes the 5-man, and out goes Fire Streaks. Fox Zero picking that one up.
Yeah, picking that one up. Nice engage again. Recall punish. That time it was actually blind. They just wanted to take control of the area and then realized that Braum was recalling there. Starting up the Baron. Now this is bold. The support, it is down. It is 4v5, but it is only the support. DPS is high though. Viego, Kaisa going to shred this. If Gangplank gets involved as well, his damage is high. Look for barrels to zone out. Hex flush over the wall.
Flute looking for something here, trying to pressure it out, but there's not much for him to find as a whole as Baron continues to tick down 4 members on the top side. There goes Wizward over the wall, doesn't quite find the steal, and now they have to take the punishment. Alucard low, over back of the wall. Wizward punished out, gonna be removed. Inaro does manage to get that kill on Crimvale, but other than that, the 1-for-1 trade is in favor of Degenerates Reform pulling off the Baron.
Yeah, getting the Baron for themselves. Neither jungler actually smiting that one. It was just a Kaisa passive proc that takes that one down. 1-for-1 trade in the pit. Wizward trading his life for Crimvale's getting that objective, or not getting that objective, having that one stolen away from him, not able to find the 50-50 smite, and that is Baron in the hands of Degenerates Reformed. Last game, they were not able to take advantage of the one that they had and end up getting picked and losing the game subsequently. This game, it is earlier on. There is more room for error. They can maybe use this one to try to prevent the soul, to try to crack the last of these outer turrets. Now, 26 minutes in the game, gold, 5,000 in their favor. I think the gold lead has steadily stayed in their favor despite the game being very back and forth in terms of map state and kill score.
Right, absolutely. And I will say Degenerates Reform looking a lot better this time around. They don't have to deal with as much pressure, and they have their own carries to work with. Like we said, Hot S'mores, Hard Stuck, we can run the same tree as many times as we want. It won't turn it into mulch. Either way, Dragon up in the next minute or so. I'd be more curious to see where they put the pressure on these side lanes, especially with Brother pushing out towards the bot lane. That could make for a really good flank come on later.
Yeah, and we've seen,
going in, Root, stun. They manage to get the damage out. Adrenaline's over the wall. He manages to get the Hextech ultimatum, but not for the Dovin Sovereignty. He gets the kill onto Fox Zero, but not before they get the knockup response onto Wizward. Alucard's over to get the assassination on the Crimvale. Adrenaline's back into the fight. Stunned out, though. He looks worse for wear. Flute Loops picks up that kill response as Heartstuck Brother now is available. Chunking out barrels left and right. Wizward low. Inaro gone. Hot S'mores taking advantage of all the tongue. Alucard now stepping forward, looking pretty bad. The passive going to allow him to escape just a little bit longer. Big flash, big trade. Alucard manages to trade. Cannon Barrage coming down to take him just a little bit lower, but I think the team at this point should realize they've got an open base to rush down, and they should let the Goose go.
Yeah, Flute Loop's actually going to chase him just to interrupt the backs, but they should be able to at least take down an inhibitor. And I think this fight was a good example of the fact that the front line for Darkside Academy is really far behind. Although they managed to execute a decent dive and take down Fox Zero, they're so behind in gold that they can't extend the fight, and Hard Stuck. Yeah. Gets taken down there. Little overextended, little overzealous. Does trade his life for the inhibitor, but it will mean that his team is able to do the dragon with the pressure he was able to draw to the top side there. So Soul is thwarted, inhibitor is taken, but shut down in the pocket of, I believe it was the Camille that picked it up. It was the Camille.
It was the Camille, yes. I will say, sorry about that. Zephyr over here getting adjusted to a little bit of a new setup, accidentally choked himself. Either way, he's definitely breathing and back to it, trying to make sure that all the oxygen gets to his silly 2 brain cell brain.
Oh man. Yeah, you know, Zephyr doing the stand-up casting for the first time, trying the Hawk method or something like that. But you know, how are you enjoying it? How's that going for you so far? Other than choking yourself.
Good, but I feel really, really tall right now, and it makes me disgusted. I feel like I'd have to buy a standing desk if I want to consistently make this work, because by God, being 6'2", absolute muscle man Chad puts it really hard on the limit. You know how I am.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Stud. But talking about studs, Flute Loop's going to be studding it out. Unbreakable Will making sure that no one gets to pull this cow.
Making sure that no one gets to pull this cow. No one's going to tip that cow. I think that's like a country thing. I don't know. But regardless, yes, I'm pretty sure
we do that down here.
We do. That's what I like to hear.
Killer Instinct taken low. The passive. Gonna find that kill. Hot S'more's gonna be looking for something himself. Alucard goes deep into the backline. Gonna get ripped to shreds instantly. Now Crimvale, the next one of the target, popped back from the headbutt from Flute Loops. Can't pursue any which further. Mind you, Adrenaline is still top. This is a 3v4. Teleport coming through. Alucard out though. Gonna be taken through by Fox Zero. That's the punishment from the Crimvale Lysandra that we've been expecting all game long. Now the 4 members going to be rushing this one down the best that they can. Big Sun onto Flute Loops there as he postures out. Adrenaline, Fire Streak, the rest of them trying to get under turret here to defend the best they can as the base continues to get crashed out. Wizard stepping up there, trying to go forward, backed again by another headbutt, pulled through with the Impale, finally going to go down for his transgressions on the hands of the Pirate King himself. Either way, finally an inhib in the favor here of Degenerates Reformed.
Yeah, picking up their second one now. They now have both side lane inhibitors down before the Baron spawns in 50 seconds, and I think this game is solo laner's revenge for the side of Degenerates Reformed. Hardstuck Brother getting payback for the pounding that he took in the Wukong Shen matchup last game, absolutely destroying Adrenaline so far this game, putting the team on his back. And then Crimvale, after falling behind early in this one, Alucard going for the big play, gets instantly put in the Glacial Tomb and bursts it out. Crimvale going to be feeling pretty damn good about that one, probably smirking to himself as Baron,
the pig
10
pays
seconds
off,
for spawning.
Finally came through 30 minutes into the game. It pays off.
They finally did it.
Proud.
Yeah, that probably was the best Glacial Tomb we've seen so far. There's 100%. Been some good picks on the front end. That barrel.
Good blast from Hardstuck Brother there. I'm curious they're going to push it out. Good blast coming for Fire Streaks to get him out. But at that point, you're getting out away from the Baron. That's not where you want to be. Reformed are in all but the power of presence to make this happen. Wizard's going to try his best, but no. They say, screw it. We'll take the team fight. We'll leave the Baron to them.
Yeah, definitely smart of Wizard not to go for it. At this point, it's not worth trading your life. If you go down, then you just lose the team fight for your base. So smart stuff to save his flash and ult, because there are no QSSs still, except for the Gangplank oranges on the side of Degenerates Reformed. So if you can find this Lysandra or this Kai'Sa or even this Viego and try to burst them down. We've seen the Viego get one shot before in this game, but that is a trip inhib with Baron. That's not what you want.
Hard. Fox Zero looking low. Shield is up, but the advantage of the snipe. Other side of the map, Hardstuck Brother gonna get launched onto here. He still manages to survive. He finds a huge kill onto Adrenaline. Meanwhile, the rest of his team collapsed inward on the side there. Hot S'mores utilizing that Sovereign Domination to find a kill in his own regard. Going deep into the backline, finds the stun for another onto Fire Streaks. And as the Nexus ticks down, Degenerates Reform bring the best of two to a tie 1-1.
They bring it to a tie 1-1 indeed. They manage to strike back. The solo laners strike back, with the team as a whole firing on all cylinders, able to find good fights, able to find early advantages onto their carries, particularly in that top side triangle for their top laner and their jungler.
Absolutely wonderful play. I will say Hot S'mores and Hardstuck Brother looking absolutely extremely dominant this game, starting with Hot S'mores and then extending further into the weak side. Absolute incredible prowess monster that occurred from that Gangplank as he just got more and more apparent here.
Yeah, I think that in that game can be summed up by at the end there when Hardstuck Brother was getting 1v2 topside there, and then just had a crit barrel and killed them both. So, or nearly killed them both. So yeah, that was very impressive for sure.
I think this game was a little bit more favored in terms of the team play. Degenerates Reform look a lot stronger this time around, but that's not to say you still did not have a great showing from Darkside in the strength of a Naro playing through that Tristana. St. Alucard came online so well, even though he was playing into the counter matchup. Eventually, it caught on to him, but either way, he still managed to pull it back.
Yeah, St. Alucard played the lane so nicely, getting such an advantage for himself and even trying to translate that to a mid-game advantage. But Degenerates Reform just simply managed to keep the gold lead big enough where there was never really an opportunity for Darkside to take a massive advantage. It'd always just be small advantages, typically towards the bottom side going their way. But the front line, as I mentioned, falling so far behind this Camille, was really just out of the game pretty much the entire time compared to the Gangplank. And then likewise, the Skarner, while it is tanky, it's not a super tank, and it can definitely get taken down should you get focused.
Well, Skarner, speaking of junglers, we're bringing one into the booth here.